Of all the games we played in May, which ones were our favourites?
Hi, I'm Julian and this is Libby, and together we make up BoxedMeeples. Well, to be honest, May has been a bit of a busy month for us, with various, big life-changing events happening. But we have managed to get some games to the table.
We have indeed, and for me, this month, my favourite game will have to be Castles of Burgundy, and of course it's the newest special edition by Awaken Realms. I mean, this is such a great puzzly game anyway, but the gorgeousness of this new edition just hikes it up another level. We managed to play with some friends and those lovely castles, the actual kind of pieces there, and all of that colourfulness. I thought actually the sort of things like the player guides and things like that actually made it a lot easier than I had remembered when we played it in the past as well. But a really lovely puzzle and interesting when you kind of are saying, oh, you're after ships, are you? Or there's 3 pigs there. Interesting. I wonder who's going to want those. Those kind of nice banter that we had around the table with that game, which was great. But it feels like such a classic.
Yes.
And I think it has such variability in that box. I mean, there's so many different cards to change the look of your duchy. Obviously, there's like a vineyard type expansion that we haven't delved into yet. So it'd be interesting to see if we're able to play again sometime and sort of delve into that and see what that's included. But I really liked this production. I liked the way that has the like sort of net for the tiles, so everything sort of stays in place. And I mean, personally, I sort of ran forward with those ships and got the sort of first player mark the whole time. So I quite enjoyed having
the extra dice to control.
Yes, having control of the game was quite fun. But I like how when you go into different areas, you're focusing on different things. So each game has got quite a lot of variety, I think, in there. But yeah, this production just looks fantastic for a classic, amazing game anyway.
Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. Quite literally, I was very wrong about this game. When I first played it, I called it Castles of Burgundy. What a fool I was, because yes, it's and I always thought, well, it's dice rolling. That's always a bit random, but I think there's just the sweet amount of kind of dice manipulation in this.
There's so much choice with the dice options, particularly earlier in the game or at the beginning of each round in terms of what you can do with them. So it doesn't feel lucky because of that. Hey.
Yeah. A game I've absolutely loved is Undaunted Battle of Britain. Now, I've had this for a while now, but we've been able to get through a lot of the campaign and see all the different scenarios, and wow, this game gets varied as you play it. Now, I'd never played one of those Undaunted games prior to last year's UK Games Expo when I got my hands on Battle of Britain. And to be honest, I was drawn to the theme because of where we live.
Yeah.
I mean, we live obviously on the south coast of England, which is where the Battle of Britain pretty much happened. We grew up surrounded by talk of the airfields where I lived, and all of our families had kind of connections to the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, I mean, my granddad flew in it. I think my grandmother's house had a pond that was created from a bomb from the war, and so that sort of period of time. So there is quite a connection to that whole war period, and particularly the Battle of Britain being on the channel.
Now, I've never been into kind of war games really, apart from when I was younger and I was playing Warhammer. But this is so different. It takes a mechanism that I really like, which is deck building, and kind of twist that slightly, so you're using your cards to manipulate the planes around the board while trying to complete your own individual objectives. And I really think it's clever how you're acquiring those cards from your kind of pool of possible cards to give you more options to control the planes you want to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like a deck filler more than a deck builder, because they're not giving you like loads of extra types of actions and extra new abilities. It's just allowing you to manipulate the things you want more frequently.
Yeah. And I think it's really clever how once you start getting hits, those cards count as your damage. So you start discarding those cards, which in turn has an effect on what you can do with the planes, because obviously if you've discarded 2 of your 3 cards, the chance of that coming out in subsequent turns is greatly reduced, which means you can do less with your certain aircraft.
Which then means that you're more likely, if you've got one that's kind of lame, more likely to get out of communications with its partner plane, which is going to cause you all sorts of trouble. You might have some trouble turning the plane.
It's so clever how they've carved mechanisms to reflect accurately what the planes did, you know. They corner so slowly, and if you're on a bombing run and you don't score your hits you need with your dice, you know, oh, this is going to be an absolute pain to do a U-turn and come back and do another bombing run. It's going to take me ages, in which time likely everyone else's opponent planes will be heading straight towards me and gunning me down. Yeah,
there was definitely a few of my turns where one of my planes end up off on a limb somewhere, and I'm sort of sat there looking at it thinking, I can't actually turn this round without leaving the map. I'm going to have to take discord. Or I can't do anything.
And, I like how it is historically inspired but not historically accurate. So there's certain things that planes can only shoot in a certain direction. I love the fact that one plane can only shoot in diagonals, because when it was in the air during the 1940s, they hadn't managed to sync up the rate of fire with the rotation of the propeller. So I thought that was just having that little touch in it made it feel more authentic and accurate.
And great that it gives you a variety, that different planes are able to do different things at the same time. So it's kind of twofold in terms of what it's bringing to the game.
And at the end of the game, the last scenario, you have the Blitz, the Battle of Britain, where you're using all the tiles and all the planes, and it's a very epic conclusion.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And it's a game I think that we'll return to again and again.
What's been your favourite game this month? Do let us know in the comments down below. What have you been playing that you thought was particularly good? And have you played Battle of Britain or indeed Castles of Not Burgundy? Do let us know in the comments down below.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, we would love it if you would do that too. And as usual, if you're looking to buy new board games, then you can head to your friendly local game store. And for us here in the southeast of England, it is Chaos Cards, who also have an online shop where you can find a discount code in our description and save yourself a few pennies if you do treat yourself on their web store.
But as always, thanks so much for watching.